This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states. Explaining football to the friend who's just there for the nachos? Hard. Tailgating from home like a pro with snacks and drinks everyone will love? An easy win. And with Instacart helping deliver the snack time MVPs to your door, you're ready for the game in as fast as 30 minutes. So you never miss a play or lose your seat on the couch or have to go head to head for the last chicken wing. Shop game day faves on Instacart and enjoy $0 delivery fees on your first 3 grocery orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Other fees and terms apply.
A little self-care can go a long way, especially amidst the hustle and bustle of the holidays. That's where Vegamore comes in. Trusted by millions, Vegamore is all about giving your hair the love and care it deserves. With their vegan and cruelty-free formulas, you can nourish and revitalize your strands while indulging in some much-needed pampering. Because let's face it, who couldn't use a bit more me time this time of year? Go to vegamore.com/ACAST, code ACAST. That's vegamor.com/ACAST, code ACAST.
Surviving Reality contains explicit content full of snark and sarcasm that may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Surviving Reality.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Carly, and today we are talking about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 5, Episode 8, The Desert and the Deserted.
The Desert and the Deserted. Is it one S or two S's? I always spell that word wrong.
No. How do you spell? You spell dessert wrong?
Yeah. Well, I always mix them up. Desert and dessert.
How?
The S.
You don't know the secret?
I don't know the secret.
You add 2 S's for dessert because you want more.
Oh, okay. See, I thought it was desserts because... What is it? Dessert because that's stressed backwards, or what is it?
Stressed backwards is spelled desserts.
That's it.
Did you know I have a pillow that I gave my mom?
Yeah, I think that was the pillow. Yeah, that's good.
Deserted in Palm Springs.
I guess there's worse place to get to get dessert, to be deserted. Who was deserted though? I think Heather was probably deserted, and she wasn't deserted in Palm Springs. She was excluded from.
Well, let's get into it. What do you have for the episode description?
We got Bronwyn and Todd take the couples to Palm Springs to celebrate their 10th anniversary. But once in the desert, the divisions in the group become clear. Even after being uninvited on the trip, Heather makes her presence known in Palm Springs.
Okay, I was extremely disappointed by this because from the description of the episode, I had complete expectation that Heather was going to show up and have her own Palm Springs vacation.
That's what it sounded like from the description, that she was uninvited, meaning that she was invited. I think
she was never on the list.
There was never an official. She was a TBD invite and then dropped immediately into the column of no, never mind.
I just had high hopes of seeing her waving to them from like a table afar at the same restaurant, or just constantly crossing paths with them while they were on this trip.
Like a strange vaudevillian villain who just keeps popping up. You just can't get away. But it's like a Where's Waldo sort of episode of can you find Heather in the background just creeping on this entire party.
I'm going to need production to step up the trip budget.
I feel like
that we could do things like that.
That would have done it. Yeah, that would have been good. Well, let's hear the Carly episode rewrite description for this one instead.
Bronwyn hosts a tubless couples trip to Palm Springs. Lisa FaceTimes Heather and fails to avoid the drama. The Toddfather loses his patience 3 hours into the trip.
It didn't take much. And for Todd to be berating Bronwyn as they're packing their bags and preparing to leave for this trip, I don't want a lot of drama. I don't want there to be arguments. I don't want it to be this whole fight between all of you at this vacation spot that I'm flying us out to. I don't think he's ever seen the show.
No, I have a feeling he doesn't know what Bronwyn signed up for.
I don't think he fully understands or comprehends what she was describing to him as the basis of the show. It's not about friendship. It's not about getting along. It's not about shared vacation spaces. It's about
arguing in spaces that you are staying in for a short period of time.
It's about, priming all of these emotional outbursts for one shared experience that happens here.
Well, Todd's learning very quickly. Before we get into the episode, I have been thinking, reflecting a lot on last week with the Heather Bronwyn face-off. And I have a theory about the casting of Bronwyn.
Okay.
I feel like the producers cast her this season specifically to punish Heather. Because if you remember, at the end of last season, Heather revealed that she got punched by Jen Shaw, which she sat on for like a season and a half. She wouldn't tell anybody who did it. She wouldn't even tell production. And then we had the big Monica reveal, which was information that she found out and then orchestrated the whole thing, which was an amazing episode. But I don't think that they're cool with her producing her own storylines. And we're seeing her try to do that again this season with the whole Prism rumor thing.
She overstepped a little bit at the end of last season. And so maybe now with this, it's kind of coming around to production again of Heather seems to be meddling a little bit too much.
I think it's partially because of the meddling. And then also, we'll just recast you, essentially. We have another woman here in Salt Lake City who can give us sassy lines and who can get involved in making her way around the friend group and talking with everybody. She can play the same role that you can.
Well, maybe it was Heather was getting a little too big for her britches, too, of saying, hey, I brought the thunder at the end of last season with the Monica reveal.
Knock you down a few pegs.
And so maybe, if she was kind of seeing this as an inflated ego status of herself and they kind of had to check her a little bit, that could be a factor, too. I feel like there could be multiple reasons why that would be beneficial for production in terms of compensation discussions or any maintaining creative control of the show and just having that as a general talking point. I think that's kind of the main push there.
Yeah, and that's a problem they've had with some of the other franchises of Real Housewives is certain wives who have been there from the beginning feeling like the franchise is built around them. And you can't get rid of me at this point because I'm so important to the story.
That's what happened with New York.
New Jersey as well. Like they have found themselves in this situation before. And I think that they're proactively trying to avoid any of these women feeling like either they're so important to the story that you can't exclude them from the cast the next season, or Heather and Lisa both kind of have a habit of always coming out rosy at the end of a situation. And this season, they're the target of all the attacks. And I don't think that that's a coincidence.
And Meredith is kind of in the mix, too, because then she's part of this alliance. And we see that
Meredith has got a lot of shit last season.
Yes, yeah. And we see that at the beginning of this episode. They're having a spa day because I think probably per capita in Salt Lake City, there's got to be at least 150,000 spas per person.
There's a spa and a swig on every corner.
It's for everybody.
I mean, that's the way it's looking to me. Never been to Salt Lake City, but that's my assumption.
You have your sweet drink and your salty cave. It's just a match made in heaven. But Heather gets to crash this conversation here. She wasn't invited to the spa day, but...
No, wasn't that some shit? She didn't get to actually have a massage. She just showed up afterwards.
Kind of interesting.
I would be a little bitter about that.
Right, where you missed the original invite for this, but now that I'm telling you that I had an altercation with Bronwyn at her house and I stormed out, now you want to invite me to join in on this, even though, I'm going to get a cup of tea out of this? That's it?
She's going to spill some tea.
And she's going to spill some tea.
She's
She has to order
trying
it.
so hard every time that she has to interact with the rest of the group and tell them about this fight with Bronwyn, and she never quite gets the reaction that she wants.
It's confusing, I think. And I think even on the couch when we were watching, I was having a reaction to the situation. You were having a reaction to the situation. Heather was taking this as a big personal insult of being invited specifically to Bronwyn's house just so she could try to earn her spot on this vacation.
I do think that that's rude.
I think it's rude too.
Especially if someone doesn't have an apology to give you, to invite them over and say, I'm expecting an apology from you. So could you do that? Otherwise, I'm not going to have you come on this thing with the rest of all of our friends. Like, that is kind of shitty, is it not?
So that was weird. And I will stand by that with the Heather and Bronwyn situation. That one was weird. Bronwyn didn't look good on that. The other one that comes up, because then Lisa tries to connect with Heather on this too, because of course they have to be on the same side. They're fighting the same fight. Bronwyn is an issue. She brought up something with Lisa before this planning stages for the trip here that's coming up, where Bronwyn needed to check with Lisa if she was going to be okay if Whitney and her husband Justin were going to be there, because it is a couples thing. And we know that Whitney's husband and Lisa's husband kind of got into it at Angie's anniversary party, the mob wife fight.
We had differing opinions.
That one I'm with Bronwyn on, because I feel like that was a courtesy call where she was checking to see, hey, did you get stuff sorted? I don't want to make it weird. Is it okay to have everybody together? Are you good?
I could see that side of it, but also I'm going to side with Lisa here. I just think if you've been friends with someone for a very long time, that it would feel strange to have them call you and say, are you going to be good? Are you going to be able to behave yourself?
That wasn't the question.
I'm reading between the lines, just like Lisa did. And that's how I'm feeling about it.
You're jumping to a conclusion, because Lisa is very sensitive about a lot of things that are being said. I guess anything that anybody says to her, she immediately is questioning if she's a bad mother.
Well, she feels like everybody's coming for her character.
This is just strange, because then it's only adding to your reactiveness for everything else.
Well, I think Bronwyn needed her to choose her words more carefully then and say, are you going to be comfortable if Whitney and Justin are there?
I believe, I mean, we might have to check the tape, but I think that Bronwyn was basically asking, I know that this was where the situation was from last that I saw it. Has that been resolved? Because I don't want things to be weird for anybody as part of this trip. I think that was the read that I was getting from that.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what you think her intentions were. And I'm a Lisa Barlow petty bitch. So my assumption was are you okay, or are you going to start a fight in front of the entire group? And the answer always was that she is going to start a fight in front of the entire group.
So you don't need to ask that question, is my response then. If you are Bronwyn and Lisa is your friend, and you do know her as well as everyone thinks that they all know each other, you
already know what's going to happen.
You don't need to ask Lisa if she's going to start some shit. She's going to start some shit.
This whole thing's kind of awkward, though, because Heather didn't get an invite. Lisa apparently almost didn't get an invite, depending on that answer. And then Meredith is invited.
Meredith forgot she was invited.
Well, she's really conflicted. Should I go to this party or not? Because it's a couples thing. So that means that Angie and her husband Sean are going to be there. And as we know, there's been bad blood between those two groups for a while now.
Maybe Meredith was just nervous if she was going to be able to get her husband to come along for the whole weekend, which we've come to find out things aren't looking so good on that front either.
No, Seth really did not.
Seth
did not clear his calendar for this.
Dropped the ball.
The backstory to her feeling uncomfortable is that Sean went on a podcast. So everybody in the off season of the show goes on a podcast and says something that starts a problem with another cast member.
It's a good way to do that. Yeah.
And when he was on that podcast, he said something about how Meredith was using Brooks as an excuse for the things that she did wrong last season, which what he's talking about was Meredith supposedly spreading the rumor that the rumor that he was sleeping with other men.
Did it originate with her? Did they confirm that 100%?
I don't know that they did, because she seems to deny it. And at this point, I'm questioning everything, because we know Lisa Barlow did not start the prison rumors.
Right. So now we got a bunch of mixed information, a bunch of hearsay, nothing that can be brought into evidence, unfortunately.
I'm not really sure why, Meredith thinks she lives rent-free in Sean and Angie's heads, because they're not even thinking about her as they're packing for the trip. Everyone is laser focused on Lisa.
Okay, I'll tell you what I was thinking about when Angie and her husband were packing. What was that small horse doing in their family photo? behind him.
Don't know.
Over Sean's shoulder.
At first, I thought it was a donkey, and I thought that's very Greek. But alas, it was not.
Oh.
No, it was a little pony.
Yeah, it was maybe they're trying to get that pony in the water. I don't know. Maybe.
We've got, going into this trip, the issue between Lisa and Angie and Sean, and also, of course, Whitney and Justin, because no one has apologized to anyone since the conflict at Angie's party. And yet there was a request for an apology, and it has not been issued yet.
Heather has Lisa and Meredith primed and ready to go after Bronwyn on her behalf, even though she's not going to be there in person. So Lisa has beef with everybody, and then she's still walking into this and essentially picking fights. She's not being careful. She's not walking on eggshells around anybody. The first thing that her and Meredith do when they get on this private jet that Bronwyn has to tout for everyone, because it's not just, we're not flying commercial, we're not meeting there. It's a private jet that has been arranged for them.
I have to tell you, she drove me nuts this episode with the private jet that I paid for, the trip that I'm paying for, the jewelry that I'm paying for, but not because she didn't actually buy anything.
Well, yeah.
It was a big flex. So we're on the plane. What happened?
It was Meredith and Lisa immediately are all over Bronwyn about the disrespect to Heather. Because the way they brought this up on the show, we thought that the flight was drama-free. They got on the plane, they got off the plane, nothing really happened. They were driving to the house. But then we flash back, and there's all of this shit that was popping off. Lisa was flipping off Whitney and Justin when she was getting on the plane.
I don't think she really did that. She said she did it, but I don't think she did.
In Lisa's head? Did it happen?
In her wildest fantasies, that's how she got on the plane.
In her imagination, that's how she walked on?
She has a Diet Coke can glued to the inside of her hand.
You could still flip somebody off with a Coke can. You just got to raise that middle finger. Yeah. But I feel like when she was retelling that story, it was kind of and then everyone stood up and clapped kind of ending to it that you could just drop in there. Feels like it was something imaginary that happened, maybe.
I don't feel like it was that bad of a conversation.
Why am I defending Bronwyn so much?
I don't know. Episode? I don't know. But let me tell you, I'm going into it. I was anti-Bronwyn. Then I was pro-Bronwyn.
Okay.
Now I'm anti-Bronwyn again.
Yeah. And I think you are just Team Lisa for life, ride or die.
That's part of it.
That's never going to change. But I think from this perspective, I agree. I do not like vapid Bronwyn. Anytime she's throwing all this stuff in our face about how wonderful her lifestyle is and extravagant everything is that she gets to experience.
I think that this woman lived a very sad life before she ended up on this show.
It was probably just all day, every day, trying to squeeze 6 dogs into matching pajamas. That's just every single day.
That's got to take a lot of time.
If you timed me for it, I don't think I would be able to do it in a reasonable amount of time. 6 dogs in matching pajamas?
Plus her own. She had matching pajamas to their pajamas.
She did. It was a full set. It was a family pack, I guess. Pack mentality.
I'm just not sure what else she did aside from that.
I guess she was just bouncing around between different jewelers' vaults where she was trying things on or having her dogs try things on.
A big question. There was a lot of dogs being dressed up and her purchasing costumes. That was a lot of what was happening pre-Housewives. All right, so they get there to the house and the group just automatically splits in two. It's partially because this house has 2 separate wings. So they just went in separate directions.
It's like the path of least resistance, for electricity or water or gravity or anything like that. It's just, well, not gravity, but you know what I'm getting at.
No, I don't. I failed physics, so we don't really need to go there.
Gravity's a constant. Don't worry about it.
Poor Seth. I was really worried for him when they got into the house and he started frantically looking for a tub.
He is on tub detail. This is Seth's entire identity is finding a tub for Meredith to be in.
They had to have rented this house knowing it was tubless.
Bronwyn did it specifically just to make things harder on Seth and Meredith.
I mean, isn't that some shit? Look at this house. It's beautiful. It has this pool. It had like a little lake. It had everything that you can imagine.
A volleyball court.
I'm sorry, a what?
Volleyball, as it's referred to on 90 Day Fiancé. Wasn't that what Asuelu? Wasn't that what he was playing? Volleyball?
Oh, I don't I know he did, but I don't remember if that's what he called it.
Volleyball. It's beach volleyball.
No, there's two things that have stuck in my mind about Asuelu. When the bike hurt his bum hole.
Yes.
And the best of the best.
Best of the best.
Which we quote often.
It still happens.
But how does this house not have a tub? There's not one tub in this place? I don't believe it.
Did we even see any of the bathrooms? Because there's no tub, so it's all just showers?
No,
then?
because the minute that Seth peeked his head around the corner and saw that there was no tub.
Not suitable.
He was running to the next room.
Gotta get out of my way. Make way for the tub.
Do you think there was one in the other wing of the house in Bronwyn's room?
Well, I think they said it was a 2-bedroom split in the one wing, and then there was 3 bedrooms on the other side. I don't know. I feel like they went through a couple rooms, like every room. And then Bronwyn kept asking, do you have everything you need? Are you comfortable? Are you good? Are you okay?
What were they going to say? I need a clawfoot tub?
Yeah, where's the tub? I'm not okay. Thank you for asking.
I kind of think Seth was so worried about it because that's his way to get away from Meredith. When he needs a break, he just lets her settle in there with a couple of pills and a glass of champagne, and she just soaks for a while.
And she doesn't know how much time has passed. Has it been 1 hour? Has it been 18? Who fucking knows?
The man needs a break.
You can lose yourself in a sensory deprivation tub chamber. He just fills it up with salt water, puts on her noise-canceling headphones, get a little blindfold in there, turn the lights down low.
She's got her.
She's out of there.
This is where Bronwyn really lost me, which is where she has the private jeweler show up.
Which is ridiculous. Who drove down from L.A.
to not make a sale.
To set these pieces out on a table for Bronwyn to look at and gawk at, and then say, we'll think about it. I thought this was going to be like when they bring out a whole bunch of pieces and then everybody gets to shop and you're looking at it. No, this was just for Bronwyn's anniversary gift from Todd.
That's what I thought too. I thought the jeweler was coming here and they were all going to shop or something.
Yeah, because that's usually why they would take a whole day to pack stuff up and drive it down. They're going to make a trunk show of it.
How do you even get permission to drive a $4 million necklace?
And $1.4 million earrings?
To just show up at some house that got rented somewhere in the middle of Palm Springs?
Nothing's locked. She just had it in a little attaché.
The fuck is an attaché?
It's like a little, like a briefcase type thing.
Oh, okay.
Or like what old-timey doctors would have where they pull it apart. It's just a sack that you
no
carry
locks
stuff
on
around.
it or anything.
Yeah, nothing. There's no security.
Just completely loose.
No biometrics. She doesn't have it handcuffed to her.
That's what I was expecting.
That's what you're expecting, yeah. No,
yeah, we need some Secret Service shit.
Yeah, that's Angie's mob wife sort of follow-up here.
Wrong party.
It's different.
So the necklace was $4 million and the earrings were $1.4 million?
Million with an M, yeah.
Yeah, wow. I don't believe that she has enough money to buy those things. I feel like this whole thing was such a flex.
Whatever. Yeah, this is just, and as Whitney is taking this hook, line, and sinker, she is pulling Justin aside when they are unpacking in their room, and she's like, I have been on several friend trips. None of them have been this over the top. Fantastic, wonderful, nice.
What would go through your mind if you gifted the woman who's looking at a $4 million necklace a piece of junk from Alibaba on the trip you took her to in Milwaukee?
They did fly private, though. So did she get that idea from Bronwyn? Did she hear that she was getting a private jet? So that was the way that Whitney was able to elevate her girls' trip?
I don't know, but just the gift. Nobody got a gift yet on this trip.
True. Oh, well, no, they did have some stuff on the plane. I think they were setting things out.
They did.
Yeah.
They did.
I wonder if Lisa...
I want to see people open those things.
Yeah, or if Lisa left hers by accident, of course, on the plane, on the tarmac, just slipped right off your neck.
There is no way that this jeweler did not think these people were fucking trash. Between them not actually buying anything and just being like, we'll think about it. And then the whole time that they're looking at things and she's trying to explain like the intricacies of these diamonds, Angie is flailing around in the background trying to fish a volleyball out of the water.
She hit the volleyball one time and it went right into the lake, right into the pond. And so she is dangling off of some flotation device with a kayak paddle, trying to slap the ball back towards the shore.
It's not going well. I also don't understand what she was trying to do because at one point it was so much closer to Sean. It's like, Sean, why don't you grab the paddle and pull the volleyball in? Because it was getting further and further away from her.
But now she's invested. She's in the journey of trying to get this ball out of the pond. But my favorite thing is when they do get it out of the pond, she immediately then goes and kicks the ball and it goes right back into the pond, which is just, it's a very relatable, real experience that just, it happens. This was very campy though.
Yeah, but I felt like she was the only one being a normal person.
That's true. And it was a fun juxtaposition of the different experiences that are happening so close to each other in this friend group, but very, very different.
Was she wearing a robe during this, or am I just imagining that?
She had something that was tied. There was like a wrap, some sort of thing. She changed, though, after that to come out to the pool, because then that's where the party shifts over to the pool here.
Yeah, and everyone is on opposite sides of the pool, just like opposite sides of the house with the bedrooms.
I'm surprised there wasn't another pool on the other side of the house. That would have been, we really could have split things up.
Needed a private pool.
Hi, this is Christopher Kimball from Milk Street Radio. I often shop at Whole Foods Market since they sell the kind of food I like. Organic vegetables, a great meat counter, and of course a great staff. For Thanksgiving, Whole Foods offers brine turkeys, as well as a spiral cut bone-in ham. The Whole Foods Market Bakery has a large assortment of pies, even a vegan pumpkin pie, or grab some brioche and butterflake rolls for the table as well. Or you can ask the Whole Foods team to cater your meal for you, including the bird, the sides, and desserts. Get your holiday party started at Whole Foods Market.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
Things are not going well. We've got our first deserter who's ready to leave because Seth comes over. He was on a work call. A lot of the couples, the husbands are busy taking calls.
Todd was on a lot of business calls, but I think it's just because he doesn't like being around all these kids.
No, and it's a Saturday. The kids.
He's
doesn't have
a
a lot in common with them.
He's getting a migraine. He's getting a headache. He's getting it all.
Well, Seth got bad news.
No tub. I checked again.
Oh, yeah, the second piece of bad news for Meredith. One, there's no tub. Two, I booked a flight to leave here first thing in the morning because I have to go back to work.
She couldn't handle any more bad news. She already had the tub incident from earlier. Now, Seth's got to go back to Ohio tomorrow. It's Sunday tomorrow. Can't wait till Monday?
Apparently not.
He's busy. He also can't spend more than 24 hours with Meredith in a given time.
That's probably part of it.
I think that's the bigger part of it. Are his eyes getting closer together?
I don't know. You said that at one point, and I was like, am I missing it?
For his confessional interviews, I don't know what it was. It's just, if it was an optical illusion based on the angle of the camera, or
I don't know. There's a lot of fillers in that household. It's very possible they're getting closer together.
Where would the fillers be? Oh, if they were like on the outside and they're pushing them together?
Just migrating. They're migrating and just moving things in his face.
I guess he's going to have to do some on the bridge of his nose here just to keep them separated here.
Maybe we get a 2-for-1 deal. Him and Christine Brown. Oh, that's not nice.
Roby Brow?
All right. The fact that they're spending their time apart is really kind of confusing Bronwyn, because when they first got there, she checked in with Lisa and said, is everything good? Are you okay? And she was singing her praises as a hostess, but she seems to be avoiding interacting with the rest of the group. Luckily, we have Whitney here to tell us everything that's going on in Lisa Barlow's world, because not only did Lisa Barlow start the prison rumors, she is also avoiding them because she is waiting to get her apology from Justin.
Oh, yes. We have the apology standoff that is happening because everyone feels that they deserve an apology and no one is willing to begin the apologizing process.
I really don't think that it's about that, though, because Lisa would have talked about it nonstop. And she's not really doing that.
If Lisa wanted an apology, I feel like she does, though.
No, she wants an apology, but I don't think the reason she's avoiding them is because she hasn't gotten an apology yet. Also, I don't think that Justin apologizing to her is going to make her want to interact with Whitney.
Yeah, that's true, but I feel like that's just her easy go-to reason for why she's not interacting right now.
Okay. I don't think that that's why she's avoiding them. I think that's Whitney's interpretation of why she's avoiding them, because she thinks that everything that goes on with Lisa is about her.
Well, because it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, for
That's
Lisa.
That's just how she got preoccupied with Lisa starting the prison rumors, which wasn't true.
It wasn't true. And so then that was the issue, was that Lisa is offended that Whitney would be challenging her character and her integrity at this point with all of these vicious lies and rumors. So that's why she's not initiating any contact with Whitney as part of this trip. But I feel like an apology wouldn't improve that, but I do feel like Lisa is waiting for an apology still.
Oh, no, 1,000%.
Yeah.
I just think if she was being petty about it, she would be bringing it up more. Lisa Barlow does not quietly sit by and wait for someone to apologize to her.
She has too many storylines, though. She doesn't get to stew on this one and be upset and outwardly speak about it because she's just right on to the next thing. She's connecting with Meredith about how Heather isn't here and the Bronwyn Heather drama. That's what she's focusing on as part of this conversation here.
I just feel really bad for Heather. Not really, but that's definitely going to start some shit.
They're still defending her so much. And I love the fact that as soon as Bronwyn steps aside to go to the restroom real quick, that's when Meredith and Lisa get the brilliant idea, let's call Heather. I miss her. We should really check in on her and see how she's doing.
She's not here to start drama this weekend, though. Lisa's not here to start drama.
Lisa assured Bronwyn when Bronwyn was checking in with everyone as they were getting settled into the house, everything good? You have everything you need? Are you comfortable? We're not going to get into any arguments, no drama. And Lisa went, no. We avoid drama.
John's face. They panned over to him and he was like, what?
When?
He's like, bitch.
Have we ever?
He doesn't believe her either.
No.
He knows that's not true.
Because the first chance she gets, as soon as she sees an opening, Bronwyn's not here. Not that she cares. It's just this gives her an opportunity to get everyone else involved and see who else will join in with this. Because then Angie feels weird about it. Whitney feels weird about it. There's immediate reactions that happen here. As soon as the phone comes out, as soon as Heather picks up.
So they felt like it was inappropriate for Lisa to FaceTime someone who the host did not invite on the trip.
It was awkward. It's awkward. It would be like picking up the phone and calling Brittany. That would be weird.
That's always weird.
That's just, in general.
I like how they didn't even talk about her being invited to this trip. Oh, they did. That was last week. She was a no. From the start. She didn't even get a chance to grovel for her spot.
No, Bronwyn didn't even consider inviting Brittany at any point.
No. Well, the whole time she would have just either cried because Jared did not come with her, or he would have been there, and that would have been even worse.
Or Todd would have asked where Jared was, and then she would break down and cry, and he would be like, okay, she has to leave. I think that's too much for me, and you need to go.
All right, I guess I'll side with it is kind of wrong for Lisa.
Kind of wrong. Kind of wrong. Is that where we're going to go? I think it was wildly inappropriate. You didn't need to do that. And especially not at that time, because I think that's the only thing that Meredith will concede to. Maybe it wasn't the best time to call Heather.
Well, she just wanted to bring it up in front of the group.
Yeah. Well, what gets me is Lisa was not looking for privacy in this call because Bronwyn comes walking back out from the bathroom and Lisa is FaceTiming Heather, sees Bronwyn in the background, and then proceeds to turn her phone to her so that way she can interact with Heather as well. So
I'm sorry. I love how petty it is because it's like, oh, I'm just calling Heather because I miss her. Do you want to say hello? And it's like, of course I don't want to say hello to her. We're in the middle of a fight.
If I wanted to see her here today, I would have invited her to join us here today.
It's just so messy. And then the minute she hangs up, Bronwyn comes for her.
Yeah, well, because that was weird. So Bronwyn isn't one to just let that slide. She's going to let you know, hey, I think you fucked up there.
She got up for 2 minutes. I mean, it must have been just a few minutes. She got up to pee. And by the time she came back, Lisa was mid-phone call.
So then we get into the confrontation here. It's Bronwyn versus Lisa for the most part. And I think Bronwyn is going above and beyond as far as catching Lisa in a lot of contradictions and calling her out on it actively as these incidents are popping up here. There's a lot of Lisa isn't being honest because she was being petty, but she can't say that she was being petty.
Oh, yeah, no, she'll never admit that.
So she has to dance around that. So then she starts coming up with all these different reasons for things, but then that doesn't align with all this other stuff. So that's what Bronwyn keeps piecing everything together of, oh, you're going to listen to Heather and you're not going to question her on anything. You're just taking that as, oh, she's venting to you and she's working through that part of this discussion. But then also, I will defend you. I will go to bat for you. At the puffy jacket walk that I had the other day, I defended the name of Lisa Barlow.
Maybe stop doing that. I don't know.
Yeah. Don't then. Yeah. If you know that she's not going to do that for you, then maybe you should reevaluate. So I don't know if this is...
Why are you being loyal to a disloyal person?
If Bronwyn is figuring this out for the first time, I guess that's where this is becoming an issue, because that's all that Whitney left her with on that too, was the ominous warning. You just wait and see. I think Lisa's going to show you her true colors here.
The men are in the pool while this is all going down, and they can hear that it's getting heated. There's people yelling at each other. It seems like the drama has finally arrived.
Well, it was because this episode has been brought to you by Vita Tequila, and Angie poured shots for everyone. So very soon after that, we got a little bit of Lisa Barlow in our veins.
So did Bronwyn call Lisa and ask her if she could bring the tequila, like Whitney called Meredith and asked her if she could bring the caviar?
Or did Angie specifically, who stocked this? Did Angie bring this along? I don't think so.
No, I'm sure Lisa brought all of her company alcohol.
She just brings a case with her everywhere.
They had to forego another suitcase on the private jet so that she could bring an entire case of Vita Tequila.
Her sunglasses. She whittled it down to 4 pairs that she was going to bring, so that way she would have room for the Vita Tequila.
The guys have learned, though, stay out of what's going on over there. The last time we got involved in this whole clusterfuck where now Lisa's still awaiting an apology. Todd hasn't learned his lesson yet, though.
He wasn't at that party.
No, he's not good at being a husband of a housewife yet. So he says something to the group of, why don't you just call Heather?
Well,
Angie was like, thank you, Todd.
Todd.
We did call Heather. That's how this entire thing started.
Way ahead of you, Todd. You're out of your element, Todd. Slowly back away.
As if he was like, what's either the most heinous thing that could happen right now would be, if you're going to argue about Heather, just call Heather and get her side of the story.
No, that was what started the whole thing. And now it's become a personal thing between Bronwyn and Lisa as a result of that phone call. So it's nothing that we need to check with Heather on.
At this point, I kind of think Heather's irrelevant, to be honest, because the problem is that Bronwyn is pointing out, Lisa, whenever you have a problem with a person, you expect me to defend you to the end. But then when I have a problem with the person, you tell me that's my problem and that I need to go work it out with them and leave you out of it.
You want to know how Lisa was here to start shit? Was because she was saying to Bronwyn by the end of this, as Bronwyn is storming off and making all of these claims and piecing all this together, Lisa is yelling to her, I didn't want to get involved with Bronwyn and Heather. Why did you call Heather then? You are involved. You are now in the middle of this. You are on a vacation that Bronwyn has invited you to, and you're calling Heather. You are throwing yourself into the middle of that. You don't want to be involved. You got yourself involved.
Yeah, this is like a classic fight, though, in a friendship group with a bunch of women, where there's always that friend who claims that they're Switzerland, but they're really not. And that is Lisa Barlow right now.
So, and again, it's trying to come out of this clean like she normally does, but it's not working.
Oh, no, she knew this was going to start some shit.
Yeah, this is sticking for sure. This is on you now.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
Well, I don't think anyone expected this to end the way that it's going, because Bronwyn goes inside and Todd follows her in, and he's done with this shit. He came here for a relaxing weekend that he footed the bill for, and he's not going to have Lisa ruin it.
Well, I like that Whitney sidled up first to Bronwyn because, again, she's very impressed with the spread, with the layout, with the delivery.
She wants to make sure she's invited on the next trip.
She wants to be here for the next one. So she has to check immediately. Are you okay? Is everything okay? Is there a tub that I can get you? Is there anything I can... Do you need me to fish the volleyball out of the pond again? Or, yeah.
Todd's like, scram.
Yeah, it's scram. She doesn't want to talk to you. He can't read the room.
And he decides that he's pulling the plug on this. We're going to kick Lisa and John out of here if they cannot stop fighting with people.
It's time to shape up or ship out. And he gives the ultimatum to John.
Gotta give it the dad way.
And he's going to sit him down. Yeah, he just goes over to John and lets him know, hey, I'm sick of your wife's shit. So if she's done with the argument, cool, let's move on. If not, then you guys need to pack your bags and get.
Poor John was sitting there like so unfazed by everything that had been going on. He's just drinking a Fresca, texting, and all of a sudden Todd's kicking them out.
That's you. Yep. Just a little slap on the leg. Go on in there. Go get her. Because I'm not going to go tell her. You need to go tell her.
Well, and that's where we end the episode, because John has gone inside to tell Lisa about the ultimatum, and we did not get an answer as to what she's going to do.
No, because Lisa is playing dumb to the whole thing, acting like this is a complete surprise. I don't know why she would be reacting in this way when I instigated and I upset her in a very overt and public way. I don't know why she would be reacting like this.
What do you think she's going to do? Will she stay or will she go?
I think she's going to tone it down, and she's going to pretend like she had no idea, because I think secretly, deep down, Lisa is also impressed with the way that this trip is going, and she is very pleased with how everything is. And so she doesn't want to miss out on this either. I don't think she's going to want to leave. I think she's going to dial it back.
I think she'll stay too, but I could also see leaving and then aligning with yourself with Heather of being the one who got kicked out of the trip. And then who else would she have to side with her on that, though? Mary? Because Mary didn't go on the trip either, but...
Mary just politely declined.
Yeah, Mary's been against her all season, so her and Heather. So I don't think that she's going to find any compassion there. And everyone else witnessed it. So I think you got to stay.
I feel like this is also going to somehow be a dig at Whitney and Justin, where Lisa will be able to display, see how I am a bigger person in a misunderstanding like this, where I'm able to admit that, oh, I'm sorry that it was perceived that way, and move on.
Okay. I love that too.
Yeah.
That would be extra petty of look at me, apologize. Oh, I still haven't gotten an apology from you, Justin.
Some people that need to have apologies around here.
I like that theory. And then my alternate theory, if she does decide to leave, is she takes Meredith with her. Since Seth has to leave early for work anyway, she's not going to just go. We're going to bring more people with us so that there's less people left here this weekend.
And honestly, I don't think Meredith's going to want to stay by herself. If Lisa is getting kicked out, then she's flying solo here.
No, she would leave too. Also, there's no tub. There's nothing keeping her here.
No, we've established that early on.
All right, so to be continued next week.
Right, there was no trailer for scenes from next week or anything like that, since it was just left on a to be continued. So
We're left on pins and needles.
I guess so, yeah.
If you're enjoying our recaps of Housewives, you can check out our Patreon, where we talk about lots of other shows. We just did a recap of 1,000 Pound Sisters. We're going to be doing I Love a Mama's Boy very soon. We've got live streams where we're talking about all kinds of things going on in pop culture, and specifically within the Sister Wives world as well.
So we did just recently update those tiers, so be sure to head over to patreon.com/survivingpod. And you can also get access to all of our episodes ad-free and early.
And we'll see you next week.
Hey, this is Paige from Giggly Squad, and this episode is brought to you by Nordstrom. It's a season of wonder all the way at Nordstrom. You'll find the best gifts for everyone you love, including tons of ideas under $100 and gift experts to help. Wondering what to wear? They have everything from cozy styles to party-perfect looks, along with free style help from their stylist. Plus, they'll make your shopping easy with services like in-store order pickup, gift wrap options, free shipping, and returns. Discover the wonder of the holidays today in stores and at Nordstrom.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.